All right. Good morning, trade pros. It is Thursday, April the 11th of 2019. I hope you're all having a phenomenal day. We certainly are. Today, we're going to talk about a few things here on this morning market update, and we're going to get to it. We're going to talk about oil, Amazon creeping you, Brexit extension, and the China trade agreement update. And first, I want to say today is going to be the next step of our foundations course retaping live. It's not too late. Today we're doing lesson 5 and 6. And next week we're doing another 6 lessons live. And then the week after we're doing 2 lessons. And then it's over. All right. So it's going to be really fun. I look forward to seeing you guys there. And it's a blast. I think this course is going to be monumental. When the industry 10 years from now is changed, they're going to say Trade Pro Academy did it. All right. Morning market update. Morning market fun fact, rather. This is kind of cool. In 1999, a 15-year-old boy named New Jersey boy named Jonathan Lebed was making up to $74,000 US a day. All right, in the stock market. How was he doing it? He was using the internet message boards to manipulate stock prices. The government, the SEC, eventually went after him, but he was able to keep $500,000 of all the proceeds. And today, there's a lot of companies that do pumps and dumps. It is not legal, all right? And there are a lot of services that say, hey, I'll tell you which penny stocks to buy. And as you're buying it, who do you think is selling it to you who's already long? All right, so just a little fun fact. Today, the timing of the U.S. and trade agreement remains unclear still. So there's an update between U.S. and China. The two countries have pretty much agreed on an enforcement mechanism, says Steve Mnuchin, U.S. Treasury Secretary. Dow futures are now pointing upwards. Wall Street stocks are getting a little bit of a rally, a bid pre-market here. All right. Also, we saw yesterday's Fed minutes, which reaffirmed the bank's stance on being more patient, lower rates for longer, which is a dovish tone, which provides market boost for the stock market and some downside pressure for assets like gold and the U.S. dollar. Here's what Steve Mnuchin said. If we could complete this agreement, this will be the most significant changes to the economic relationship between the U.S. and China in in the last 40 years. And he has another meeting this morning with Chinese Premier Liu He, and so the negotiations are ongoing. But it looks like we're getting closer to some form of announcement or finalized agreement. On the Brexit front, the Brexit timeline is now extended to Halloween. And the question is time up for Prime Minister Theresa May? She managed to convince EU leaders yesterday to grant the UK an extension. One of our members on the YouTube channel, I'm not sure who it was, but if you're listening today, I'd love it if you could comment because you called it. They said, of course, the EU is going to extend the timeline as long as the UK wants. The EU needs UK to be in agreement. They're not going to just break up. They're not going to get divorced. They'll work things out. Genius comment back then, and it happened today. Extended officially to October 31st. But some experts are saying that Theresa May's days are numbered. A 6-month period is a lot of time to either get new leadership in, or if Theresa May resigns, to even have the new general election. All right, so it gives them a little bit of time to reaffirm the leadership stance and then move forward with negotiations till October 31st. So now the fact that that's pushed off, that's sort of a risk that's taken off the table. The unknown is pushed out further, and that's going to be an optimistic event that's going to get priced into the market. That already is getting priced in the market. All right, I saw something really funny on an Instagram account, and I want to share it with you. It said that this year, the end of May will come before the end of April. And I like that. I thought it was kind of funny. I think she's done a lot of work, a lot of great work. She put forward a lot of proposals the parliament couldn't agree on. So, I mean, if you're not going to agree with the leadership, you get a new leader if you're in a position to be able to do that. And they are. All right, Amazon listening to you. So this is really funny because for some reason it comes as a shock that the Amazon Echo speaker that you talk to is listening to you, right? And I'm like, then why are you talking to it if you don't think it's listening to you? So the funny thing is this: thousands of workers around the world are listening to private Alexa conversations. I don't know how private you expect the Alexa conversation to be. However, with the goal of helping improve the speech assistance technology, all right, the recordings are transcribed. This is where it gets strange. It's taken into a transcription, and then employees review these conversations. Now, it shouldn't be a surprise that they're doing that. It shouldn't be a surprise that the vocal conversation is being transcribed, because that's what the technology understands, and then that becomes searchable internet keywords to serve that data to you. So, right, the Alexa ecosystem operates on this principle. But here's the thing: Amazon never publicly disclosed this. Never said that was the intent. Never said anyone would be listening to this. There's been some prior issues where public conversations of a married couple were sent to a shrink. I don't know what the right term for that is. It's just escaping my mind. Running on low sleep yesterday, by the way. And therapists, there you go. Thank you. Thanks, Vic. Yeah, Victoria was a super useful kid around here for things like this, especially. So the therapist. And so here's the interesting part. I remember having a conversation with my friend. We literally argued about this over an hour. Not argued, but we had a constructive criticism process where he's like, it's not listening to you while you're not asking it things. And I asked him, his nickname is 30, by the way. Victoria, you know 30. So you know how 30 and I like to have some interesting So I'm like, 30. If it's listening for you to say, hello, Alexa, right? How does it know you're saying hello, Alexa, if it's not always listening, huh? Oh, Alex might have been part of the conversation too, but I specifically remember. Yeah. So here you go. I had this discussion with other people as well. I'm having with you today. It's like, if it's waiting for you to hear a trigger word, then isn't it always listening? And why is it a surprise? And I kid you not, these TVs, there's one up here, one up there, and one on the other side. There's 3 TVs that we purchased for the office. They came with little Amazon Echo speakers. You know what I did? I gave them away. I have one in a box that we're still planning to do a giveaway on. Should we do the giveaway? Type in your market forecast for this morning, and the best forecast will win the Amazon Echo speaker. You're going to have it after I bash it a little bit. That's Amazon. So you're going to see some downside pressure on the Amazon stock, and it's going to cause a little bit of selling on this news. All right. It's something that comes to light in the public. I don't think a lot of people think about these things. In exchange for convenience, we're giving up a lot of privacy. And I always tell this to my friends, family, anyone that cares to listen. If you're not paying for a product in any business, so if you're using Facebook, Twitter, and if you're not paying for that product, you are the product. You are the commodity. The information that you provide is what's monetized. And so, I mean, that's coming to light these days, and let's see what impact it has on Amazon. Amazon's a huge company, big constituent of the FANG stocks. Watch out for that today. In Asia, Japan's up 0.1%. Hong Kong's down 1 percentage point. China's down 1.6. So a little bit of a sell-off in the Asian markets. In Europe at midday, London's up 0.1. Paris up 0.7. Frankfurt's up 0.3%. Futures in the United States, Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ are all up 0.1%. I see these markets hitting new all-time highs before the end of April. All right, we're on track for it. I've been kind of squawking that message in the last few weeks. There was a period where I said, look, this is the do or die level. The level eventually died, and the equities continued to go up, or it did if we're expecting a bull. Since then, I mean, you have no choice but to be long. The market's on a rally. What ends up happening is, remember, markets don't crash from lows, they crash from highs. Every single recession that's been triggered has happened with weak economic data while the market ripped to a new all-time high to get everybody who's been on the sidelines long. And then when everyone's long, here's what most traders don't understand. Long traders aren't long traders. Long traders are sellers waiting to happen. And when everyone's on the long side and there's nobody willing to buy, what's going to make the price go higher? Nothing. Where is the liquidity to the downside? All right, that's a little market tip I have for you this morning. Moving on to crude oil. I find this pretty cool. Crude oil is down 1% this morning. The pit session opened at 63.91 level, and we're seeing a little bit of a retrace above the VWAP session. There's a little bit of down pressure this morning. There was a report out of OPEC that said in the June meeting, we could see producers raising output. So remember, OPEC producers, OPEC plus, because it includes Russia, have agreed to curb production and keep it at a consistent level, which does what? Less supply means higher price, given the demand stays the same. But they have set a target. When OPEC mentions a price target on oil, all right, it gets there because they have a large influence on it, obviously. Right? It's like me saying TRADEPRO membership is going to go up by $10,000 the next 3 weeks. You're going to have some reason to believe that that's coming from somewhere, right? Because I have some influence over it. It's not happening. Don't worry. It's our value. Our model is value and help you guys out. All right. So OPEC said in June, we're going to see producers debate raising output prices if oil hits $80 to $85 a barrel. All right. And declines in Venezuela and Iran are seen in output and in production. So that's the marker that you should put on your chart. 80 to 85 bucks, right? That becomes a ceiling overhead, and it also becomes a target. I seen oil around $65 as resistance, and now we have a higher price point here, and it's going to be interesting to see what the trajectory up there looks like. All right, this morning at 8:30, initial jobless claims came in at 196,000 versus 210,000 expected, which is the lowest level since 1969, which is great. That's positive for the market. That's strength in the labor market, and what that tells you is less people filed for unemployment in this week than the prior week, and the lowest amount since 1969. So that's a positive coming into the marketplace. It's great for the economy. It's a good economic look. And it's kind of interesting because the Federal Reserve is not raising rates. So one of the ways that this could be seen as bad news for the market is if the labor market's so good, how come the Federal Reserve stopped raising rates and paused their balance sheet unwind? All right. That's going to be the question a lot of traders and investors ask. I'll give you the answer. The Federal Reserve doesn't care about the economy. They care about the market. Shh, don't tell anybody. All right. It's a big secret. 8:30 producer price index also came out. 9:35 we're going to Fed's Williams speaking. 9:40 Fed's Bullard is speaking on U.S. monetary and economic policy. 10:30 natural gas inventory. We'll have some volatility around the energy complex. 1 p.m. 16 billion 30-year note auction. 4:30 money supply on the Fed's balance sheet to see the latest figures on their unwind operation, which is set to pause through September. All right. If you guys have any questions, pop in the question box below. I love you all. Thank you for being here and tuning in with us every single morning. This is morning market update number 432. Think about that. We've been in this business for a long time, and these morning market updates are a recent thing in the business history too. That's all I got for you today. Look to buy dips. I'm seeing some upside pressure early on the market open. You can see a little bit of a sell-off. Look for a qualification criteria to get long. There's bullishness in these markets. Overnight events leads us to put an upside sentiment to equities. All right, so buy the dips in the early morning. And if that doesn't pan out and we crack support structure, then you could look to start selling rallies. And we're going to keep you guys up to date with that in our trading room. Speaking of the trading room, let me turn around and open it up. I'm going to put Victoria on, talk about NASDAQ. I'll cover the S&P. And our oil desk manager will go through and talk about oil. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Send you love, joy, and happiness. See you tomorrow. And thanks a lot. Goodbye. All right, trade pros in the room. That's a good meme. Victoria just read a meme and said 90% of you got to see it. Never mind. We'll post it up in one of the social medias. Take care, guys. Have a great day. Goodbye. Trade pros in the room. Let me give you a level of some support on the S&P 500. I'll hand it over to Victoria, and then we'll wrap it up with Steven before the market opens.